Yo, what's good, guys? We are back on the show, and today I'm going to be going over the best captains you can run. I did the best lineup video in the game, and I did the glitch video. That is not patched. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and watch that video. If you need clarification on that, you can go back and watch that video. I'm going to do it in this video, but I'm not going to really explain the process super in depth. I'm just going to show off the lineups with the captains that I think you guys should be looking into when set 6 is about to come up and unlock all the cards and all the captains. We're going to see some old captains come back. We're going to see some newer captains become more useful because there will be older cards that qualify for them. And without further ado, we're going to hop in. So I think the easiest way to do this is mini seasons. And I'm going to hop in right now. And the team you see in front of you is one of the teams already. I already kind of set this one up. I'll make jump cuts throughout the video when I see other teams. But this is the arm accuracy team, aka the Mookie Betts team. I'll take my camera off for 1 second to show you that we have Nolan Jones at first base. This team's pretty tough. You can see this Mookie's max contact, but he's already kind of close to that anyway. Nolan Jones becomes a max contact guy. Ozzy's max. Lindor, a little bit to be desired. Probably better off on the shortstop team, but it's still decent. Acuna is already max contact. He doesn't benefit too much. Simeon gets a big boost on this team. Cal Raleigh, if you like his swing, gets a huge boost on this team. I love that. Bryce Harper, still a god on this team. Adolis, if you are somebody that likes Adolis, I know there is some people out there that do. I personally don't like his swing, don't love his defense. But if you are one of those people, obviously this team fits him, makes him basically a god at 125 everything. Freddie Freeman makes this team if you'd prefer him at first or third over Nolan Jones. And then Willie Mays also makes this team. You can see he is very good. Not really a center fielder, but you put him in a corner spot, him and Adolis in the corners. Maybe you want to put Acuna in center field. I know the reaction will be bad, but it's the sacrifice you make for running more players there. You see, I have this one here, but I'm sure there's other players that qualify for this that we can go over. The monthly judge, if you like him. Paul DeYoung, if you like him. Not too many people are going to be fans of Euculus. Finest judge is probably who I would run. Michael Harris, if you really like him. It's still not going to solve the power issue with him. JD, if you are somebody that likes JD. Jordan makes this team if you'd rather like DH him over Soto. Two very similar players. You can see the stats are pretty elite, although the contact isn't awesome. And then I'm sure there's probably some guys on the market that I don't own, but overall I think this is one of the top teams you can run. You can run the Mookie Betts arm accuracy build. It would be a good time to go pick that up because a scouting report pack came out today that kind of let us re-pick those captains that came out with Mookie. So if you are interested in this team, now's a great time to get him. He was like basically quick sell value earlier. So we'll see how that holds up. Pitching wise, this is the first pitching captain I'm going to show off. There's like 2 or 3 I really like. We'll see if I have enough pitching captains to, mix and match with the hitting lineups. But this first one I'm doing is Roy Halladay. It's real simple. I don't think you realize how many of our good relievers have been from the AL and NL East this year. Basically, with him, you just have to use pitchers from the AL and NL East. And really, the only boost he gives is just walks and a little bit of stamina, which you don't really care about stamina, but the walks is nice, especially when you look at this DeGrom, a max walks card. Somebody like Al Leiter really uses the walks well, being a lower control pitcher. Same for Senga. You can see he gains a lot of walks through 9. And then this Pedro is just awesome with it. And then you can see there's a lot of other options if some of these cards have piqued your interest. Robin Roberts, I probably would not run. Greg Maddux, I know there is a lot of Maddux fanboys out there. He makes this team, although he doesn't really benefit too much from it. Gets even better with his control. Just doesn't really get better hits, which is where he's going to struggle. Freed also makes this team. Cliff Lee. This Tom Glavine is very good. It's just he more so needs like hits than control. Obviously, his control is already very good. Burnett would benefit a ton from being on this team. He could really use the control. Luzardo, if you like Luzardo. Nola, that Events Wheeler would make this team. Or you could run this one. Scherzer. I liked Scherzer a decent amount at the start of the year. He would make this team. I know some people like that Ranger Suarez, and there's probably some more pitchers on the market that could make this team. that I don't have in there. In the bullpen, you see Zach Britton gets a lot of control, and all these pitchers are getting stamina, mind you. So that's kind of big for some of these relievers. You can see Zach Britton, you put 5 parallels on him, who have 41 stamina, basically turns him into a long reliever. So I kind of like that. You got guys like John Franco make this. Felix Bautista is very good. His only knock really is his control. This kind of fixes that. A lot of people like this Kimbrel earlier in the year. He gets better control. Somebody like Loop gets even better control. Probably our best lefty specialist of the year makes this pitching boost. This Kenley Jansen gets better control, so his control gets more on par with the signature, but you get to keep that circle change, which I really like. I'd much rather him have a circle change than a normal changeup. And then Mo makes the team, right? So Mo's already kind of a control freak. This gets him all the way up. It gets him as high as possible, and it gets all these pitchers more stamina. I love it more so for the bullpen. Obviously, it does kind of hurt your starting rotation. Sorry about the Twitch sound for somebody following. If you don't follow the Twitch, now's a great time to mention. Go follow the Twitch. Go run that up because I do play music on the Twitch streams. I do stream on YouTube also, but the Twitch streams get music. Anyway, I'm going to do a little jump cut here, and we will be back with the next team. So we're back with the next team. It's a team that you guys all know and love, the Cal Ripken team. Everybody's seen this. You know, for the most part, who makes this team. You might have forgot about some of the older guys that came out forever ago that make this team, but in general, this is the team. This is what I'll probably be running when the next set comes out, with the the exception of first base. I might put Jimmy Fox back in there. Just kind of want the switch hitter that is Santana. Wouldn't mind getting Bellinger back in there. It's a shame that the finest one doesn't make the team, but they play about the same in my experience. You can see just how many insane options there are for this team, how good the boost is. You can see pretty much everybody on the field other than Santana, since he's a switch hitter, have maxed out contact. So that is pretty nasty. If you put Fox at first, he also gets max contact. So nobody on the team would step up to the plate with less than 123 contact on this team, and it's why the Ripken boost is one of the best ones you can possibly run. Or I guess you could run Bryce at first if you'd rather have him over Fox. Really, it's personal preference. Just the names that make this team are crazy. It's super nasty, and I love this team. A lot of people do. There's a reason it's probably the most popular one. And right now, he was also in that scouting report pack, so he's about quick sell value. So if you want to go pick him up, now would be a great time to do it prior to set 6. You can see we glitched the lineup again, just to prove that that is not patched. So, second, and I'll probably do one more pitching captain, so we will have enough, is the Pedro Martinez captain. I'm sure maybe some of you guys have loaded in and seen this one online. It's all right. He's about 200K if you want him right now. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. All he really does is improve clutch by a little bit, walks by a little bit, and hits by a little bit. But you kind of have to run not the best players out there. What you're looking at right now would be my preferred rotation with him. And it's not extremely great, and the numbers don't really jump out at you too much. It's better if you can get to the tier 3, but I just don't think in a competitive setting, you getting this to tier 3 is a good idea. You can see these are the pitchers that make it. The only ones I don't have included is Greg Maddux. Maybe there's somebody on the market you could grab that would make sense. Really, you kind of have to fill your bullpen out with guys that I probably would rather not. Rob Ninn's good. He's underrated. I've been saying it all year. He's an underrated pitcher. And then you're pretty much done after that, right? You don't really want to run Hoffman. You can make him work. Eckersley's terrible. Rob Dibble's terrible. If the new Percival made it, then you could maybe argue it's a decent bullpen. This Fergie's just kind of outdated. He would need the full tier boost, in my opinion, to be worth running. I don't think it's worth it because of how it sabotages your bullpen. But if you like a lot of these guys anyway, if you wanted to use a lot of these guys anyway, then I think it's a good idea. So I'll be back with the next and final team. So we're back with another of, the more popular teams. You could be running the Jimmy Rollins captain, which is the shortstop team. You can see You get the best version of Ketel Marte, I think, all year. This one does lack a little power when compared to the other one, but he's max contact all the time, and he's not a defensive liability in the outfield, unlike the other one. You get J-Ram, who's probably the best card I've used all year. He's close to as good as he is on the durability team, not quite there. You get Ellie, who's just a monster. I used a free slot on Trout because there's not too many awesome center fielders. You could run Chirrillo. You can see he's on the bench for me at the moment, but you could easily just slot in Chirrillo, and he has basically the same stats as that Mike Trout. He's pretty disgusting out there. If you'd rather use him or use your free slot somewhere else, like catcher would be a good spot with this team. Mookie Betts gets 5 more speed, right? So you get some parallels on him. He'll get 74 speed. He's not quite the defensive liability that this card is at its base. First base has a lot of good options. It's been kind of limited just because we haven't had some of these options, but you can see for free, you have this Justin Turner. Otherwise, you have either of these Manny Machados you would want to use. Mike Schmidt, who's basically a free card, and Ernie Banks is no slouch either. You can see I put him in. He's a disgusting hitter. He's super good. And then you can see there's a lot of overlap with like Corey Seager. Chipper Jones makes this team probably the best DH you could possibly have in the game. Switch hitter with 125 everything. If you haven't used this card, you're missing out. Diego, you don't really get to see his wheel. I think he gets to around 105 to 110 contact with, whatever power he basically has. Insane speed, good fielder at catcher. Does lack some quirks. If you wanted to use your free slot at catcher, it would be completely understandable. But this is a slept-on card and has a very good swing, kind of like a right-handed Lou Gehrig type swing. So he's worth a shout, I think. Jeter, if you're still using Jeter, he makes this team. Trey Turner, this is probably the best version of Trey Turner. You could run the finest one if you want a little more power, but he's not going to have a maxed out contact and maxed out clutch like this one has. So I do prefer this Trey Turner by a little bit. David Wright, if you enjoyed this card when he came out, he's back. He's nasty on this team. Gets like 99 speed or close to it. I don't feel like doing the math at the moment. This Lindor, if you want to use a Lindor, it's between this or the finest one. They're about the same. I think this will end up with slightly better contact. If you like Jazz at the start of the year, I don't think this team necessarily makes him viable. It will be on the next team that I think he'll get his most value. Marcus Semien makes this team if you liked him. There's so many good players that make this team. It's kind of ridiculous. They've been racking up. Bobby Witt is gross with the max out tier of this. You can see he's very good. Would not be my first choice, but he makes it. This Bo Bichette doesn't really benefit too much other than getting some speed, but he makes it. Royce Lewis is very good. Ozzy, if you did the BR collection, this is his best team by far. He gets a ton of speed, gets to be a much better fielder at second base, has max out contact. Really all you're missing from him just being a complete god is a little bit of power. Troy Glaus, Gary Sheffield actually makes this team. If you put him in his primary of right field, I promise he won't be the worst defender in the world. Jimmy Rollins makes this team. There are so many good people on the shortstop team moving forward. It aged incredibly well, and I really like that team. Pitching-wise, it is actually Raleigh Fingers. I don't think this is a game-breaking pitching boost. I don't think it's as good as the other ones I've shown off, but I still think it's very good in its own right. You can see you have to have relievers with over a certain amount of stamina. There's some studs that make this, that make the captain boost. Unfortunately, you can't glitch captain boost unless Shohei Ohtani gets a new captain at some point. Then you might can get up to some shenanigans. But you can't glitch it, so you can't get the 99 Raleigh. That would probably make it more viable in my eyes. But you get Goose, which, hit or miss for a lot of people. Zach Britton makes the team. Zach Little makes the team. Jose Leclerc, Javier Assad, Matt Strahm. Chris Martin gets a lot better with this. Presley is very slept on. This Josh Hader, if you need a lefty specialist. Matzik, I know a lot of people like Matzik. Anybody else I would even consider? Not really. Like Adbert Alize or Jojo Romero are, decent shouts. They're not bad. This Patrick Corbin, I am a much bigger fan of than the starting pitcher one. So if you like Patrick Corbin, he's good. This Lou Trevino would benefit a lot from being on this team. So I like that boost. I like the Raleigh Fingers boost. I don't think it's game-breaking. But I have one more lineup to show you guys, and then we'll be done here. So we are back with the final team. This one was a little bit of a headache. Tried to get the glitch to work with David Wright. Turns out it won't. So this will be the Cover Athlete Boost team. You might remember it from the start of the year. This David Wright, pretty decent card. And this is what you're looking like, right? So if we get a new Jeter with more power, I think it makes this team a little better. If you guys can find a way to glitch this captain to make it work to where you could have David Wright at third, the 99 overall, then I think it would make it better for sure. But otherwise, still a very solid team. You got Andrew McCutchen out here being extremely solid as a card. I wouldn't say he's an awesome card at this point in the game, but he makes a team. If he's one of your favorite players, I can see why you would want to run him. Love his swing also. You got this Griffey, which did not age as well with the boost as the other Griffey. I would rather run the other one. This one's probably a little better defensively, but the other one I think has better stats than that if I'm remembering right, hitting wise. Aaron Judge makes this team still a very good and usable card, but my preferred choice would probably be the 99 overall 12 win reward Vlad, or you could play Tatis out here. Also would not be a bad card. You can see extremely good on defense with that speed. You put some parallels on him, he'd be 95 speed. The contact would be there. The clutch is there. He's very good on this team. Bryce Harper benefits a little bit from this team, gets up to max contact against lefties, so that's not bad. Also becomes a disgusting fielder at first base. Jackie Robinson makes this team. You got some other options at second. If you want to use the finest Jazz, you could use him. Catcher, I have this 97 Mauer because I didn't keep the chase card Mauer, but if you did enjoy that Mauer, if he was one of your favorite cards this year, he makes the team. I like him a lot at catcher. Chipper Jones obviously makes this team super nasty. And then you got guys like Ortiz. If you wanted to run him at first instead of Harper, maybe you don't have the stubs for Harper, he would be a good alternative there. Same for this Josh Donaldson. This card's super good, super cheap also, only 12K, and you're looking at these type of stats on the team. Javier Baez is good on this team because of, where all he can play. And then this might tip off the pitcher I'm going for, but we're going for Nicky Lopez. So I will show some other guys off. I already showed Judge. I replaced him. Ryan Howard makes a team if you like him. I would not advise it. His swing's really, really rough, lefty-lefty. If you want to use like the 99 Ripken, if you have that Ripken, you really enjoy Ripken swing, then he's good. Miggy makes the team. He's good. I think Sean Green might have a 99 overall that you could run. I'm not too entirely sure. But that's about it for the Cover Athlete team. I like the team. It's just very rigid. There's not a lot of flexibility with this team. You have to run who you want to run. And basically, you'd be subbing in Josh Donaldson at third for David Wright as soon as the game starts. So that sucks. If you can find a way to glitch this, then be my guest. I could not get it to work for one reason or the other. I think it's because Wright's a primary third baseman that's throwing it off. And the last and final pitching captain I wanted to mention is this Hoffman. You can see you can use any Ohtani. So if you want to start an Ohtani, you could do that, and that would get you progress towards the Cover Athlete boost. For me, I usually throw the reliever in there and do that. So the pitching captain is going to be Trevor Hoffman. Sorry about trailing off there. You can see there's no negative to having him, so just having him at any tier is a good thing. It only provides positives for your team. So I do like that, but obviously if you can get into tier 3, that is a pretty nasty boost. Boost about everything you want other than walks. You would probably like some walks, especially on this Hoffman. If you could glitch this one and get the 97 Hoffman in, that would be awesome, but you can't really glitch pitchers. So Loop makes this. He's very good. I think I was still running this boost with Loop for a little while when he first came out. Zach Little makes this boost. You can see he is nasty with this boost. Ottavino makes the boost. He's very gross, but it doesn't really help him. Yeah, he's just kind of like that normally. Chris Martin benefits so much from this boost. Without it, he's just kind of a control freak with low hits. With it, he's basically a max out hits through 9 pitcher with almost max out control. And he throws a splitter, which is not to be underestimated. So I like him with the boost. Matt Strahm makes the boost. Tanner Scott would be good if you want a lefty specialist. I think David Robertson's a very slept-on card. A lot of people like Matzik. Who else is all right? Matt Brash isn't the worst card in the world. This would help him out a lot with the hits. Tim Miza, a little bit of a gimmick guy, but not the worst pitcher in the world. Scott Barlow, one of the most slept on cards all year, makes the team. He would be extremely good on this. You can see his hits and Ks basically go to max. He's very, very good on this team. Yunier Cano, if you've enjoyed him. Brooks Raley, if you like him. Diekman, if you like him. I personally wouldn't run those guys over somebody like Aaron Loop. Greg Soto is back. If you liked him a lot, I just think the control's a little rough, a little hard to stomach at this point in the year. Jojo Romero also makes this team. And Lou Trevino. So I'm a big fan of those cards. I think this is a very viable boost to run if you use a lot of these relievers anyway. I like the Hoffman boost for that. His price is a little crazy right now. I would expect them to probably re-release a lot of these captains coming soon. But I do like this boost. I think there's one other boost I would consider. I think the Vlad Guerrero Free Swingers boost would be interesting to look at. I don't own the card personally, and I can't imagine that the team would be that insane around him. But you could definitely glitch it to where you could have the 12-win reward Vlad in there. So I think that would be a very good, very competent team to run out there. Especially if you glitch them, right? You're basically running Vlad, and you're getting all the benefits with none of the downside. So I like that boost. Another boost I really like is when I tried to get to work. I tried to get the Old Timers boost to work. The main problem with it is I don't think there's like no catcher in the game. I don't think that makes that team. And the new Willie Mays, for some reason, doesn't qualify for that team. He qualifies for the 70s and 80s team. He does not qualify for the 50s and 60s team. So that really sucks. But yeah, guys, those are all the captain boosts I would be looking at going forward. There is some very good options. You got, let's go page by page. Obviously, if you run a bunch of Braves on your team, if you run enough Braves in your starting lineup and you could fill your bench with them, then some of these captains would be no-brainers to run, especially if you just glitch them, basically, and you're getting 2 for 1. Then that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Like, if you have a bunch of Yankees, if you have a lot of Braves, teams like that are very popular, obviously, to have. You got the shortstop captain, Jimmy Rollins. We went over him. I think he's good. This Johnny Bench, I thought would be better. Not super great, and obviously you kind of want captains where you would want to run their upgraded version. Not exclusively, but, ideally, that's kind of part of the glitch is you're getting a 2 for 1. Gehrig, right here, with the Yankees, would be so good if you're running like Judge, Mickey, and Babe Ruth, right? If that's going to be your lineup anyway, and then you can fill out some bench spots to get to 6, then obviously that would benefit those cards a lot, and the rest of the team around them you would just kind of build normally. This one, if you have enough Orioles, if you're running like Cedric Mullins and Adley Rutschman, and you just want to boost them, and then load up your bench with a bunch of Orioles players, that's not bad. I looked into the Lindor with the glitch. You can glitch them if you wanted to run that. I just didn't think the team really stacked up with a lot of these other teams. Who else is solid? I looked at a guy like Joe Morgan for the Short Kings team. Not the worst team in the world, just doesn't really compete with a lot of these other ones. I wouldn't call them great lineups to run out there. Cal Ripken, obviously probably still the best one, but Rollins and Mookie Betts are very close in my opinion. If you wanted to run those. I tried out Sammy Sosa. I thought on paper it sounded like a good idea. And it was, but I believe Willie Mays didn't qualify for that team either for some reason. Which is insane to me. I don't know how every other version of Willie Mays qualified for that team, but then the brand new 99 one didn't. I'm assuming that's a glitch that they kind of need to patch. I don't know if anybody will bring it to their attention, but I will mention it here. Mike Piazza's not the worst captain in the world. It's just his boost just isn't that good, and it's only against one side of the plate, so it's not awesome. This Willie Mays I thought would be awesome if you could glitch, but the rest of the team around him just isn't that great. And then I think I went through pretty much all the captains in the game. I looked for ones that I thought would be good. The only one I think would be good that I can't show you guys on paper is the Vlad Captain Boost. I think it looks alright. I'm not even sure who all qualifies for the team. I think you have to have below a certain amount of discipline to get it. So for me, I'd probably stay away from it. I don't really care about discipline, but usually if a card has low discipline, there's probably not, vision's probably bad, contact probably isn't great. Like, I'm sure maybe, like, monthly judge makes the team, and some other cards like that, but I probably wouldn't mess around with it too much. But those are the captains I would be looking into running in the upcoming season when everybody unlocks. Obviously, if you're glitching the captain, it makes it way easier. If you don't know how to do that, go check my other video. I'll even link it in the description if you're too lazy to go through the catalog. Go run that up. Run the glitch up. It still works. It's not patched. You guys have me believing it was patched 1 point. It is not patched. You can see my, I think this is my durability lineup with it. Super good. Go run that up. Till next time. Peace.